be talking about a storm system that is currently over the Pacific, and then it will make its way into the United States, and it will cause some severe weather in the deep south and bring possibly, the models are showing, maybe some snow to the northeast, including possibly New York City and Boston, depending how the system works. So let's start off with just seeing what the weather is like right now. So as you can see here, we have the HRRR model right here. This is the best model for short-term forecasting. And right now, nothing big is really happening. There's going to be a little slow in the northeast, which a little bit of snow, which is why we have a winter advisory, a few inches here and there, nothing big, but it will add to the accumulation that we have in Buffalo from the lake effect snow a few weeks ago. But then what we do see here on the left, this is our storm system. This is what's going to be causing some trouble over the next few weeks, and this is what we need to be watching right here. So let's get right into what we're talking about. So today, first, it's just important to go over what we're doing, what's happening right now. So right here, we have our winter weather advisories, and over here, we just have a bunch of like snow advisories in preparation for the storm that we're getting. Up here, we have more winter weather. We could see snow here anywhere from 4 to possibly even 20 inches coming. This is why it's really important we talk about this, and I will keep you guys updated over the next few days whenever I have time to make some videos. Okay, so let's get into it. The first aspect of this storm, the one that's going to be impacting us first, is this severe weather part. Now, with severe weather, we believe, and this is not just me, this is the Storm Prediction Center, the most trained meteorologists in the world that do this every single day. They think that we will have about a very good chance right in this orange area right here of seeing severe weather on Tuesday, December 13th. Now, this orange area has been there for 2 days, meaning that the SPC is extremely confident that we're going to have some sort of severe weather outbreak here. And most meteorologists, including me, I'm not a meteorologist, but I study meteorology, and I really love meteorology, and I learn all about it through what I do, but a lot of people think this could be something big. This could be either a tornado outbreak, a hail outbreak, or it could just be a pure windstorm that wreaks havoc. So this is what our storm is. This is the ECMWF model, and this is our storm progressing right here. So as we see, we first start to see those characteristics of your classic cross-country storm about around Tuesday, where we have our low pressure system here. We have the cold air that is coming in the back. Now what happens here is the cold air comes from the north and it comes around. Since it's spinning counterclockwise, it comes around and it pushes that severe weather forward. So we have this severe weather right here, and it's going to push it forward. It's going to push it and forward towards New York. It's going to create all these thunderstorms along the way. But now we do think that the worst of it is going to be down here. And then as we keep going, it sort of splits into another storm that's going to come up here along the coast. And as we see right here, we'll talk about this more in a second, but we see it could drop a big load of snow on the interior northeast and maybe even the coast. And whatever doesn't get snow, whoever doesn't get snow is going to get a lot of rain. We're talking about 1, 2, maybe even 3 inches of rain could cause some localized flooding. It's not going to be a big flooding problem, but it's definitely possible. Now here's another model. It shows the same thing. Around the 13th, 14th, we start to see those characteristics of a storm, cold air coming around the back, pushing that rain band forward, which will cause the severe weather on the 14th, maybe the 13th, 14th. We're not sure yet, still a few days out. And then the GFS shows the same. It splits out. Let me see if we have an updated version. So it splits out. It splits into another storm, and this model shows snow for New York City and Boston. So this model, the GFS model, is showing pure snow even on the coast, which I personally think is possible. It's about a 50-50 chance that we get snow on the coast as of right now. Okay, and then this right here, we can see our storm. This is just another good way. This is the dynamic tropopause temperature, which is basically the temperature at which the atmosphere, I know it sounds weird, but at which the atmosphere doesn't become the atmosphere anymore. And usually when it's a colder temperature, that means that we have a storm system right there. That's all you need to know for now. And you can see right here, our storm system comes up and then it sort of comes back down, maybe splits into a second storm, and then rides up along the coast, and we might drop some snow, maybe some rain over there. And then this is the energy. So this storm this is not gonna be like your average storm. This is gonna be a huge bowling ball storm. It's gonna come down, it's going to negatively tilt. So what negative tilt means is when a storm is really powerful, it tends to have like a negative tilt. So you can see these bars right here, they're pointing towards the left. When you go up, they're pointing towards the left, which means that we have a negative tilt. So that negative tilt, you can also see right here when we have a bunch of these close little lines right here, that means that there's a negative tilt, and that means that this storm is going to pack a punch. And then we can see the vorticity on the GFS model looks roughly the same, splits into a second storm and goes into the northeast. And so now back to that part about the thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes and some severe weather. Down here you can see this is the lightning flash rate. So the darker the color leading up to purple, the more flashes of lightning you have in that area. And as you can see, we have a bunch of lightning here. Now we're not really in range for the short-term models, which show you like the tornado parameter, if we're gonna have supercells. If we have a supercell outbreak here, which means discrete thunderstorms, not all clumped together, but if we have separate thunderstorms, this could be bad because we have a bunch of high level wind, meaning that any storm that becomes strong is likely to produce a tornado. And storms are usually stronger when they're discrete. So once we get a little more into range, probably on Monday, I'll have another video out. And then that's when we'll go really in depth on the severe weather. Then right here, the GFS model, this is CAPE, convective available potential energy. And that basically tells you how much energy is there available for the thunderstorms to eat up and become stronger. Some people nickname it cake. I think it's pretty funny, but this is basically telling you how much power the storms could pack. We don't have numbers that high. If the numbers stay this low, we could definitely still have some problems. But I think in order for there to be a widespread, insane tornado outbreak, we need these numbers to be a little higher. And we obviously don't want there to be a tornado outbreak. So we're just gonna hope that it stays like this, and then we might not have as widespread of a storm. Then this right here is the GFS model. So you can see right here when the storm comes, this model shows a bit more CAPE. We have 1450 here, 1300, 1000, and this, like when you get into the thousands range, when you get to like 1,000 joules per kilogram of air, that's when you start to see problems. That's when a widespread tornado outbreak is more than possible. That's when it becomes likely that we see some sort of problem. So we'll definitely have to dive deeper into this on Monday. And then this is just the GDPS model. Again, you can see that CAPE, it's not as widespread. We're gonna hope that this is the case and not the other models, because if this were the case, we'd probably have less of an outbreak. Now let's talk about the storm in the North Base. You just got a sneak peek there. So once the storm is done dumping snow on Nebraska, South Dakota, all those areas up top, it will come into the Northeast. This is the ECMWF model. It's usually the most reliable. No weather model is ever fully reliable, but the ECMWF is usually the most reliable, but it's definitely wrong a lot of the times. So this model is showing that we're gonna start off with rain in New York City, Boston, but Rhode Island, interior Connecticut, interior Rhode Island, Massachusetts, all these areas not on the coast are going to see a lot of snow. We'll go into the snowfall possibilities and depths in a second, but I just want to show you that if this trends any more south, we're talking about a major snowstorm in a lot of areas, including the coastal cities of New York City, possibly Boston. And we're not seeing a major snowstorm here on the GFS, but we're definitely seeing a hint at some sort of snow. As you can see right here, New York City could see some snow according to the GFS model. Boston, it's going to be right on the border of snow and rain, but the GFS is not showing as big of a storm. And then the Canadian model, the GDPS is showing nothing as far as snow. We'll have snow in upstate New York, of course, but the GFS is showing Connecticut, Rhode Island, most of Massachusetts, New Jersey, southern New York, no snow. And obviously I would like some snow here in New York. I don't know about you guys, but I think that if the ECMWF comes true, maybe trends a little more south, we could be looking at some snow here, and that's exactly what it's showing. Look at this. It's the ECMWF model. We are seeing, I see at 27 there, close to 30 inches of snow in the interior areas. Over here, 32, 22, 30.8. I mean, this thing could really dump a bunch of snow. Now, I don't think it's going to be this extreme, but it is very possible that this will bring a lot of snow to some areas. I'm going to hope this comes true, trends a little more south. Right now, New York City is looking about the 1 to 2 inch range for right here, but that could change. Could definitely change. And then this is the GFS model. The GFS model is showing probably about 4 to 6 inches of snow for New York City, about 1 inch for Boston, and then less extreme, about a consensus of 10 to 15 inches for the interior areas. This would be a less moderate, still impactful snowstorm, but a less powerful snowstorm that will bring a little more snow to the coast too. So let's see what happens with that. We'll definitely dive back into that on Monday. We'll have much better details on this. And then the GDPS model is showing half an inch New York City, probably even no snow in New York City, maybe half an inch Boston. And then the interior areas around the lakes, we'll see about 30 inches. This is what most people thought was going to be the story for the storm for the past few days, but the models, they've all trended south. So there's a good possibility that we're going to see some sort of shape or form of snow in New York City and Boston. And that's what we need right now. We're still a little far out, and that's why I can't stress enough that you guys tune in on Monday if I post a video, because that's when we'll have these facts pretty much fine-tuned. And then right here is the ECMW ensemble. So this is basically the average of 50 models put together, and this is usually very reliable. The problem is in the long term, the averages get sort of skewed and you tend to less snow or less precipitation than there actually will be. And that's, we're not going to get into the details of that now, but that's usually what happens. So right here, this is the probability of an inch or more of snow accumulation. So this doesn't mean an inch fell. This means when you walk out, you'll see an inch on the ground. And as you see, there's a widespread 100%. Towards New York City, it's about 30 to 50%. Boston, 20 to 40%. I think that these will increase with time. I think that we're going to see about a 70% chance of snow in these cities in the end, but we're definitely going to have a lot of snow in the interior areas. Right here, this is precipitation. So if everything fell as rain, this is how much you'd get. Getting about 1 to 2 inches of rain. Some places could see isolated 3 inches, and those are the places that we're maybe concerned about flooding or something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of talking about the storm system. We'll talk about it more on Monday, but it's definitely very complex. A lot of things could change, and a lot of things have changed. There's just one more thing I want to say before we leave, before I go, is just the long-term outlook. So over the next 6 to 10 days, we're seeing pretty much below average temperatures across the whole U.S. Precipitation outlook, this is made by professional meteorologists. This forecast right here, precipitation going to be above normal in the southwest, and then average or a little below normal everywhere else. 8 to 14 days, again, below normal temperatures across the board, and seemingly it seems like above normal temperatures above normal precipitation across the board too, except for the northwest. And then this is weeks 3 to 4. We're seeing, again, I see this below normal trend, and sometimes you'll get a little hint here. This coming down right here, so this area of below normal temperatures that we see over there, what that looks like to me is it's hinting that a second storm system is going to come after this, possibly a Christmas snowstorm for the Northeast. Now, we don't know if it's going to go up to the north, to the middle, or to the south, but it is possible that we see some sort of storm system follow this one that could bring a lot of snow and create a white Christmas for some people. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. On Monday, I'll have another video out. I'm going to have a bunch of graphics and stuff like that. I'm going to cook up some graphics on my iPad to show you guys to make it a little easier to understand. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I plan on making some new ones in the future. Thank you so much, and stay tuned.